So the pilot actually stated that it wasn't him. It was even very risky and could have put him in trouble and the lives of the players in danger. If what the captain of Libya says happened to them in Nigeria was really, really deliberate, then it means that the past few hours have been clouded with some dark news in African football, and it has to do with Nigeria and Libya. Where Nigerian players have been held hostage in Libya. So the Nigerian players were expected to land in Benghazi, where they were supposed to play in Benina, in the city of Benina, at the Benina Stadium on Tuesday, that is today. And the Benina Stadium is 10 kilometers away from Benghazi, where they were supposed to land. The city they were supposed to land. Unfortunately, or the airport they were supposed to land. Unfortunately, due to, I don't know how to put it, but due to certain circumstances, the airplane they chartered was directed not to land in Benghazi, but to land in another city that is east of Libya. And this city is several kilometers. It is called Al-Abarak in Beida city, that is east of Libya, which is very far from where the match is supposed to play. And per protocol, when footballers are heading away to play, they usually are booked, or they usually are or uses the nearest or the closest city to the stadium to avoid fatigue and to, get the players in shape for the game. But then this happened due to some, reason or some issues that the Libyan people harbored against Nigeria when they played the first leg in Uyo State. And from what happened, it looks like there was some miscommunication, because the Nigerian, the NFF has come to debunk the claims of the Libyan players who also called foul, or who also, are claiming that they were also meted out to such or similar, treatment. So that is where the whole, issue is coming from. So I'll be taking you through, step by step how or what really transpired that got us to where we are today. And it is becoming, a big concern to a lot of football fans, especially in Africa, because this news has really gone, worldwide, and it is not really very good for African football. It all started when the Nigerian skipper came out on socials to complain how they were held at the Al-Abrak airport for almost 13 hours without food, without water. That is not good. That is not good at all. But then it didn't stop there. A lot of people felt that was going to be it. They were going to be taken out of there. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So it didn't happen like that. You could see actually pictures of, these players lying on benches with their luggage all over the place, not befitting of the status of these players. Mind you, these players are coming from, places where they are treated with high regard. They play for the best of clubs in the world. So them, even the pictures coming out of them lying, I could see Bassi, forgetting himself and just sleeping off. That is not very good. And also to talk about security, anything could have happened to these players. And at the point, the players themselves feared for their security, and they had to boycott the game and return back to Nigeria. So this was the message William Troost Ikong posted. He said, 12 hours in an abandoned airport in Libya after our plane was diverted whilst descending. Libya government rescinded our approval landing in Benghazi with no reason. They've locked the airport gates and left us without phone connection, food or drink, all to play mind games. You see, I think that Africa, we have come to a point where we should go beyond these unnecessary things, unnecessary like behavior. And a lot of people have concerns because it looks like this has been a kind of behavior some of these North African countries deploy against their African brothers when they are hosting them. And for me, we all know football is a unifier and not to disunite Africa. And I just want you to be focused on the chronology of events, how things are going to unfold. He further on went to say that, as you can see on the screen, I've experienced stuff before playing away in Africa, but this is disgraceful behavior. Even the Tunisian pilot, who thankfully managed to navigate the last-minute change to an airport not fit for our plane to land, had never seen something like this before. And when you know everything happened, blame game started, and some blame was to go to the pilot, and he came out and he stated clearly that it wasn't his decision to do that. It was actually, directive from above. From above means the highest authority of Libyan government, and it tells you that it makes it more like fragile, because I don't think that as the highest authority of Libyan government should be involved in some of these unnecessary behavior. Well, he moves on to say that, so the pilot actually stated that it wasn't him. It was even very risky and could have put him in trouble and the lives of the players in danger. And for me, that is the height we can go. That is the height we can go with some of these things. That is the height we can go. I'll tell you why the Libyans, as I already stated in the beginning, exactly why the Libyans behaved in the way they behaved. But for me, they took it too far. Some of these issues must be addressed with respect and dignity. Just stick with me for a little while. I'm going to be giving you the reason why this happened. So he stated that upon arrival, he tried to find a nearby airport to rest with his crew, but he denied to be denied at every hotel again under government instruction. He could sleep there, but no Nigerian member allowed. They have returned to now sleep on the plane, which is packed up. So even not only the players, Nigerian crew members were not allowed into any hotel nearby, except for the Tunisian pilot. This was so I don't know how to put it. This was so disgraceful as Africans, for us to treat our African brothers like this. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what you think. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. So Econ went over and over and over again, but then in summary, they were denied, or they were held hostage in an abandoned airport. And per research, that airport is like barely used. It is only used during the period of Hajj, when pilgrimage is about to happen and people move from Libya to Mecca. That is the period. It's more like a Hajj village. That is mostly the period. So it looks like an abandoned airport. That was where our brothers from Nigeria were sent. And according to a lot of people, they see it as, antics to kind of stress the Nigerian team to lose the game. Don't forget, last Friday, that was the Friday last week Friday, Nigeria played Libya in Oyo, and Nigeria won that game. Thanks to the strike from Fisayo Dele Bashiru, who gave Nigeria a late winner on that game. So in that game, everything showed that the Libyans were not happy. The Libyans were not happy because of certain things that happened. Even in the pitch, they were deployed, because I watched that game. They were deploying some antics to delay the game, to make the game not, be played without hold-ups. When it was getting to the latter part of the game, you could see they were just putting in a lot of antics to hold on to the game. But unfortunately for them, Nigeria was able to, get that goal. But it is also clear that before they got to, or they were to come to Nigeria for the game, they had to do some, usually they have to make arrangements. And with regards to what I've heard from, let me just read by you this article that has been put very well by Graphic Online, summarizing the whole story. The team was built to engage their Libyan counterparts in an African Cup of Nations qualifiers in Benin, which has been aborted, as the Confederation of African Football (CAF) would be consulting its CAF status and regulations to know who violated their rules. The Super Eagles were practically held hostage in a locked, abandoned airport with no access to food, drink, or phone connections after their chartered flight was diverted during descent, and they were banned from leaving the airport in chaotic and worrying scenes. The inhumane treatment meted out to Nigeria players yesterday propelled the federal government to summon the Libyan charge their affairs in Nigeria, even as President Bola Tinubu demanded swift justice over the incident. The Super Eagles were due to play in Libya in their African Cup of Nations qualifiers tonight. That is today. The Nigerian national team had won the first leg, played in Oyo International Stadium 1-0 after being stranded for over 15 hours. The Nigerian team refused to play the match in protest of the awful treatment. The Nigerian team, which included renowned players who plays for respectful clubs around the world, expressed their anger and disgust by posting their videos and comments on social media, condemning the primitive attitude of Libyans. Players recount ordeal. Wilfred Ndidi wrote, "This is not football. Very embarrassing. Hostage to a national team. Disgrace." Bayer Leverkusen striker Victor Boniface says, "Being at the airport for almost 13 hours, no food, no Wi-Fi, nowhere to sleep. Africa, we can do better." That is very important. Africa, we seem to be retrogressing every time. And that is not good at all for the beauty of African football. He added a video on X from the grounds and claimed they had been held up at the airport for 16 hours. Right. So a lot of the players also, spoke their mind on the issue. Now, let me take you to this part where, the whole issue started. This is where, they tend to be coming from. That is the angle they are coming from. The captain of Libya made a statement, and if you connect the dots very well, it looks like this looks like a revenge that they are trying to pull off against Nigeria for what happened, because apparently Ghana is also playing Sudan in the same Libya, but Ghana is not complaining of any bad treatment. So it tells you that there is something more to what is happening than just what we see or what we are seeing. So it states that, okay, so Libya had complained of their poor treatment in Friday's match, where Fisayo Dele Dele Bashiru grabbed the only goal. That led to the woeful condition for the Nigerian players who were pictured sleeping on the seats in the terminal with their suitcases. Video footage also showed Nigerian football chief desperately pleading and negotiating with Libyan airport staff. All right, so it actually went to the Nigerian authorities, and they started to, put together some measures to limit the plight of the players there. At this point, we have called our Nigerian government to intervene and rescue. Trust Ikon continue. So that was still, Trust. I mean, as the captain, he just had to find a way to rescue his players. So the Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, stepped in to help resolve the problem. He revealed a compatriot arrived at the airport with necessary supplies and internet. That was where I think, there was some hope to the players. Right. Tuga wrote, I have been closely monitoring the situation involving the Super Eagles in Libya. In Libya, the mission has maintained contact with the NFF and the Libyan authorities since last night. Despite efforts, Libyan authorities have not yet authorized the Nigerian mission trip to Beida city, where the airport is located. Libya's anger, like they say, revenge only engenders violence, not clarity and true peace. This is so true because, listen to this part, because Libya's initial anger stemmed from the first leg clash played at Uyo International Stadium. Right. The Mediterranean Knights captain Faisal Al-Badr claimed the Nigerian Football Federation distributed their own travel plans into Nigeria. So listen carefully. He said, we left the hotel at 6 in the morning and the plane took off at 9. The flight took 4 hours. And thus we arrived in Nigeria at 1 p.m. Libyan time. Our luggage was searched inside the plane for an hour. And we were also delayed in transportation from one city to another for 3 hours, I beg your pardon. Even though we traveled on a private plane, and there was an airport close to the city we wanted to play, we later contacted the company responsible for transporting and securing the mission, but they informed us that there was no police patrol at the time, which increased the risk. After a long time, 3 non-air conditioned minibuses and a police car arrived, in addition to 2 cars from the Libyan embassy. So, in summary, what our brother, the captain of Libya, Faisal Al-Badri, is trying to say is that they were also given similar treatment when they got to Nigeria. When they got to Nigeria, they were supposed to, be given to fly straight to Uyo, but unfortunately, they made them arrive in Lagos, from what they are saying, and now had to move, or is it Lagos or Port Harcourt, and made them to move by bus. And the buses they even gave them were non-air conditioned buses. So for them, this was intentional. This was an intentional treatment by the Nigerians or the Nigerian authorities. Their luggages were also searched in the plane. And let me read, by you, for you to know that this was a planned thing. There's this Facebook page called Libyan News Today 1. They had made a statement about the treatment Nigeria is going to be meted or is going to get when they arrive in Libya 3 days ago. And exactly, or more, it was just the same thing that happened, but for 1 or 2 things. So let me read by you that post. It stated, next Tuesday, the Nigerian national team's plane will be given permission to land at Tamanhat Airport or Sebha Airport, far south of Libya. So it told you that information was already there, though the locations are not accurate. He says that The Nigerian national team's mission will be searched by police dogs. I'm not sure whether that happened, but it tells you that it's just revenge they are planning out. The Nigerian national team. Okay, so this is what actually happened. The Nigerian national team's waiting time at the airport will not be less than 8 to 10 hours. The Nigerian national team will be transported on old school buses that are not air conditioned. The Nigerian national team's mission will be informed that the hotels in the city of Benghazi are completely full, and there is no vacant hotel inside the city, and they are allowed to stay in the airport, I guess. That is at least, or stay in a hotel that is at least 300 kilometers away from the city of Benghazi. The same treatment that our players received. If you look, that is 3 days ago. I got this screenshot this morning. 3 days ago. So it tells you that this was a planned thing, to the point that it was even on social media. I don't know how credible this particular Facebook page is, but most of the things they said really came true. It really came true. So let's continue our story. Now the NFF came to clarify what actually happened. The NFF rejects claims, but the Nigerian Football Federation rejected their claims of poor treatment on arrival in Nigeria by the captain of the Libyan senior men national team, Faisal Al-Badri, insisting that the Libyan Football Federation created chaos for its own team. The Mediterranean night. NFF Assistant Director of Protocols, Mr. Emmanuel Ayambumi, said the Libyan Federation only informed the NFF that its team was landing in Port Harcourt, not Uyo. That is what they informed the Nigerian authorities of. Right. Only 3 hours to the team's arrival on Tuesday, I spoke to the General Secretary of the Libyan Football Federation at length on Monday, October 7th, and he never hinted that his team would be arriving on Tuesday, the following day. He only said he would get back to me, but never did. On Monday evening, someone sent an advance party by the LFF, the Libya Football Federation, called me and said his team would be arriving on Tuesday by noon. We made all arrangements to receive them in Oyo on arrival. It was only an hour after the team was airborne that he told me the delegation was landing in Port Harcourt. That disrupted so many things, but we raised on to get approval from federal authorities to allow their plane fly them to Uyo once they concluded immigration formalities in Port Harcourt. Apparently, that would have meant additional cost to the LFF, that's the Libyan Football Federation, from the charter company, and they didn't want that. So they preferred to travel from Port Harcourt to Uyo by road. That was their own preference. But not that of the Nigerian authorities. He added that the Libyan delegation jettisoned road transportation arrangements made for them by the NFF and instead hired buses on their own. They hired buses on their own. That is what the NFF is telling us. I don't know how true this may be, but I have no cause to not believe what the big man, the assistant director of protocols of the NFF is telling us. I have no cause to doubt it. Right. So if they traveled on buses that were not air conditioned, that had nothing to do with the NFF, and they hired their own buses. We provided security for them with men and vehicles in front and behind their buses. Well, guys, this is what the NFF also had to say. So as I told you, it was more like a revenge, probably from miscommunication from their team. Maybe their protocol and the Libyan team had communication breaches. Because what the captain is telling us is different from the narration from the protocols officer at the NFF. You know, and all of this lies at the doorstep of CAF. All of this lies on the doorstep of CAF. What is CAF doing about these kinds of things? If what the captain of Libya says happened to them in Nigeria was really, really deliberate, then it means that it's wrong on that aspect too. But here's a clarification from the NFF Assistant Director of Protocols. So guys, for me, I think it's about time Africa grow up. And CAF itself CAF has to do something about this. Because we cannot keep investigating. Because that was what CAF said. They were going to investigate, refer to disciplinary, blah, 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 blah. And nothing happened. Whatever the case may be, we need to see the end or know the end of this. What happened? What happened? For the air to be cleared. So this doesn't repeat itself. If there is somebody who is supposed to be punished, the person or that particular person should be punished. Should be punished. And, you know, even development from Libya says that the Minister of Sports in Libya has also resigned from his job as Minister of Sports from this same, you know, happenings and all of that. I'm not sure what exactly, but it looks like this is the cause of his resignation as well. So there is a lot more to it. It's a developing story. I don't know what CAF is going to do. Let's hope and see that CAF, or let's hope that CAF is able to solve this amicably, because these are two nations, two African nations. We can't have issues because football will continue to play. And these two, cannot say these two nations won't play football again. They will definitely play. So CAF has to find a way to sort issues out, to sort things out. Because as we speak, Nigeria has left Libya. They left Libya yesterday. They abandoned the game because their lives were at risk. They cannot risk their lives. These are big players, senior players, international players. If their clubs even hear about this, they'll call them to come back. And these are some of the issues we've been talking about. It makes it difficult for these players to want to come and represent their countries. At the end of the day, they're not even getting anything. And then we'll be putting their lives at risk. So the CAF have to be up to the task. CAF have to up their game to make sure Africa, and as I said, this news is all over the world now. And it's shameful. Sky Sports, whatever, what have you? Have you ever seen Sky Sports talk about AFCON, talk about African football? If not for such unnecessary news and distraction. So guys, that is what I've gathered, and I'd like you to also tell me what you think about this whole development. Do you think it was fair, the treatment meted out to Nigeria? From what I've put out, what do you make of the story? Which side do you think is telling the truth? Which side do you think is not? So let me hear you. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll bring you another video in the next episode. Peace. I'm out.